Nobody even gives me, am I okay? Do you
Back
like
at
where
the
I'm at?
Indianapolis
Am I
Scouting
good?
Combine. I'm trying to start the segment.
No,
and
that's
this
good.
guy- here we go.
Nobody says, hey, we're starting in 5 seconds.
That's what he was
you know?
complaining about. That was a great
We got
start.
the countdown. He didn't. It
That's
worked out
good.
well.
Yeah, it was
Here we go.
good. We're going.
Howie
with it.
Roseman,
Damn,
not
hosting the
just,
show.
not just the general manager of the Eagles, and I'm going to regret this potentially.
Why?
Well, you know our new tradition that has cost me plenty of
Oh,
money this
baby.
year. Executive of the Year.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this?
Well,
I
I'll tell you the
I
story
like your money.
briefly.
I'd like you to spend it on your wardrobe, but I like your money.
Last year,
Get him, Howie.
last year, I told Mike Vrabel he was Coach of the Year,
Yeah.
2021. He said, what do I get? It's like, I've never been asked that question before. And I joked around, a canned ham. And he said, well, actually, I like honey-baked ham. So I sent him a ham. So this year, Daboll's Coach of the Year. Daboll gets a box of cigars. That's what he wanted.
Okay.
We go to the Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey's comeback player of the year. And I just blurted it out. What do you want? He wants a nice putter. So $400 later, he's got a nice putter.
Really?
So then Justin Jefferson's on. He's Offensive Player of the Year. What do you want? He wanted a gaming PC, and I texted his agent afterwards. He just kidding? No, he's dead serious. So he has a
It
gaming
was more than
PC.
$400
more
too,
than
Howie. Just to
$400.
let you know the price
So-
range here. It was more.
Wow.
So you're on the show.
Oh.
You're Executive of the Year.
Wow.
What do
wow.
you want?
I got to do this right now.
No,
First,
you
give
don't
me-
have to.
gi-
You can
give me
think
some
about
examples.
it.
Give me,
You can
give me
think
some
about it.
things
No,
here.
no,
Also,
no,
I can't, I
no,
can't
you
ask for like a new watch.
Well,
That's past.
I
the-
mean,
Well,
you,
it depends on what kind of watch.
Justin
it is.
Jefferson's PC was
Stop it.
watch category.
Stop it.
Watch
My
category.
budget is exhausted.
I like this watch. Do you want two of them?
I would love two of them. That would be a very fair price.
Great.
I'm going to find something, and we're going to make
Good.
sure we get something that's fair.
Good. I'll make sure I stay on them.
Well, you earned it this year.
Yeah,
You did.
Yeah, good.
You got a team that top to bottom was the best roster in the league, regardless of how the season turned out. That was why we struggled going into Super Bowl weeks. Like, the Eagles are the better team here. How are we not picking the Eagles? Well, they don't have Mahomes. That's the only difference. But top to bottom, offensive line, defensive line, everything, you put together the best roster in the NFL.
Yeah, I think that's our job, right? To try to put together the best possible team, and the way our quarterback played in that game is incredibly exciting for our franchise and the future of our team. And things will change. That's what happens in the NFL. They'll change, and we'll have to adjust and have a plan for it to get back. And we talked about it before we came on the show. Just because you say you're going to get back, I mean, every time a team loses in the Super Bowl, everyone, well, we'll be back. We'll be back. Well, we got to make that happen.
Yeah.
And how do we make that happen? By continuing to do the right things and having a good process and making sure that we're giving our coaches the right kind of players.
What's like, because it's still fresh, and I don't mean to go there, but I'm gonna go there.
But he's going to go there anyway.
Well, I am, but like, what's more powerful? Because as an athlete and played in the league, I mean, I know a little. Like, was it more powerful of a feeling winning the Super Bowl in 2017, or the dejection after this loss this year?
I think when you won, you felt like this feeling of like, this is what it's all about. This is why I do this. This is why I make the sacrifices I make personally to be away from my family, because this feeling is unique. And how do I get it back? And how hard it is to get it back, and how hard you have to work. But you feel like this sense of, okay, like I can do it because I know how good that feels.
Right.
And when you lose, it's a scar. It's just something that's always going to be there. It's always going to be part of you. And I'm not saying that in a way that it's not motivating. It's just the reality of it. Like it's part of your journey. And you think about it. I mean, Coach Reid, I was with Coach Reid a long time. Like, he's lost a Super Bowl, obviously. The best coaches who've ever come to this game have lost Super Bowl. So it's part of it when you're doing this long enough. But I'd say losing the Super Bowl hurts more than winning the Super Bowl feels good.
Great. Yeah. That
It's
seems to be a common
unbelievable
answer.
feeling to win the Super Bowl.
I know. Listen,
but it's painful. It's painful.
Yeah. It's a reason. I think about, I only played like 10 games in my life, but I think about the losses more than the wins sometimes.
Yeah.
How does it feel watching the Super Bowl when there's nothing you
During
can
the game?
do? Yes, while you're, especially when the first half ends, you're up 10, and it's kind of like, we probably should be up more than 10 the way this is all gone. Like, what's going on in your gut as you're witnessing
I think, first of
all
all,
that?
I have 4 kids, and when I watch them play sports, it's like you want to reach out and put them in the positions that they should be in, right? You want to just freaking grab them and say, hey, like, that ball is coming back to that guy. You cut off that passing alley right there, and you were going to get that steal, and you can't do it, right? And so when you watch in my role, I can't. We have great coaches, so this is nothing at all critical. But I can't do anything on Sunday,
Yeah.
so I literally sit up there, and it's like watching 53 of your kids, plus all these coaches that you have personal relationships, and you can't do anything. So all this part of the year, you have a chance to control outcomes, which I feel like is a great responsibility I have, and when you're doing it, it pulls at you. And when we won the first Super Bowl. With a minute to go, Tom had the ball down 8, and for some reason, Al Michaels started. They flipped to me on TV, and I'm pacing. Like I look like a psychotic person, And later we win, and someone tells me the next day, like one of these the late night shows, maybe Jimmy Kimmel was like, "Oh, you want to be an NFL general manager? Look at this guy. He's a psychopath right now." And I'm like, "Of course I'm a psychopath. Tom Brady has the ball down 8, and
right.
we're trying to win our first championship." Yeah. And then in this game, when Jalen scored on that 2-point conversion, which was a phenomenal play. Like just
they put you on the screen
will,
again,
and they put me on the screen again,
yeah.
and I was out of my
Going
mind.
crazy.
I was out of my mind.
Fist
And
bumping,
I was out of my mind.
Yeah.
And it's because I love it. I love it. I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about the people who I'm doing it with. And when good things happen, I'm excited about it. When bad things happen, yeah, I'm bummed. But I also know my role is to continue to move forward and to continue driving and give us an opportunity to try to do it again. And that's what I'll do.
Yeah, you talk about, the man of the hour in Philadelphia, your quarterback. He was awesome. I mean, he's, listen, I'm not trying to shy away. I was one that wasn't sure how great he could be or whatever. He certainly proved me wrong. What was the moment when you went like, oh, wait, this guy's like real deal? Does it go back to the 2022 season? Or was there a moment this year where you went like, wait, we've turned the corner here to go, this is a big-time player instead of just a guy, maybe?
I think first it goes back to really his college career.
Okay.
And I think it really goes back to our overall process with anyone. And you think about it, like the guy started as a true freshman at the University of Alabama, was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year as a true freshman, got them to the national championship game, faced adversity, like a lot of great players and people have to deal with, and came back firing, and he was a Heisman finalist when he transferred to Oklahoma. And what you saw is that they basically said at Alabama, they said, and Coach Saban has said this, you need to work on your ability as a drop back passer. Mm-hmm. And he had this unique work ethic, this unique ability when you tell him what to do to want to get better, this elite competitiveness, and he has unique physical ability. He is a physically gifted player.
Sure.
And so you combine that with work ethic, with character, with his ability to connect with his players. And so you saw that. I remember during our first training camp, a couple of our veteran players came up to me and they said, "Man, when you made that pick, we were like, what is he doing?" And we see it,
right.
And it didn't happen right away, just like it doesn't usually happen right away for most players in this league or most people in any job they have. It takes a minute. And we're in a world where if it doesn't happen like that, you're not good enough. Yeah. And I feel like last year he made tremendous strides, and we decided like we had to help him. Yeah. And we had to make sure that we were putting him in a position to have success. And like everyone, you need good people around you. And I think he showed that from day one. It was the first practice he came back, and he was firing on all cylinders. And he had a phenomenal year. And I don't know that there's really a ceiling on how he can play because of who he is and what he wants to do.
Yeah.
From Jalen to Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson still waiting for his contract. These guys are going to get paid. And you've previously said you're not going to delve into the details. I want to ask you this, though. Do you envision a day when elite quarterbacks who have earned big contracts will simply get their compensation tied to a percentage of the cap year in and year out on a long-term deal? So you don't budget the specific dollar, but you budget the cents on the dollar that go to the quarterback, and you have everything left over for the rest of your team.
So this is interesting, Chris, because you could see this. Like the thing that I really do admire about you, Mike, is that when you have something on your mind and a point to make about something, we'll read about it consistently, and you will hammer it home. So luckily, I do read PFT, and I do see
and he
that
is
you're
aware.
on this.
He is aware.
So
and
I am aware.
And I live with this guy
and
here,
so,
basically.
I
makes
do,
too much
I do
sense to not do it.
I do not envision a reality that I don't currently live in. I envision the reality I currently live in, and I try to take place in that reality.
But what
And
if Jalen Hurts would be
I don't
happy
live
with
in-
12 cents on the dollar, 13 cents on
I
the
don't
dollar?
live in what ifs. I live in what is.
He doesn't live it. What if you wore a better collared shirt? He already said.
What
I
is
don't
it?
know.
What is it? I mean, you look good. You lost weight. You look good. You look in fighting shape. Do I think that maybe you should buy into that and look at he's got a wardrobe. He's got a stylist.
He's killing you.
I don't think
love
so. I
this.
think I'm complimenting him.
Yeah, gee, you look great. Now go buy more clothes because they don't fit you.
And buy him his gift too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, I can't buy new clothes. I have to buy him a $2,500 watch apparently.
I hope so. I hope it's more. All right, I do want to ask about one more thing about the Super Bowl, right? I mean, I know you're like you said, you're not the coach, you're not playing on the football field, but when were you aware of the field situation? Did you know in pregame when you were walking around, did you start to hear players complain, or was it more of a thing like...
Yeah, I think there's communication all week about the circumstances that you're dealing with. And again, there's no excuses. The Chiefs played on the same field as we did. And at the end of the day, that's not the reason we lost the game. The Chiefs deserve their championship. I don't think that there's no asterisk here.
I know.
At the end of the day. And I don't think, it's productive for any of us to make excuses. That would be a disservice to the Chiefs organization, Coach Reed, and I don't feel comfortable doing that.
All right. Yeah, I just was
But
wondering if you knew pregame or like
we just talked about. We can't talk about what if.
Well,
we
Andy was interesting in that they had the kickers there or whatever on Friday or Saturday, and they were like, the field's great, it's perfect. Yeah. And he's like, something must have changed in that 24 hours. I just was wondering if you were aware.
Our kickers were there too. I mean, Coach Sirianni does an amazing job of preparing for everything. So everyone knew the circumstances of what we're going on.
Okay, all right. Good, nice, respectful answer there.
Where do you think you need to improve this roster that is indeed, from our assessment, stocked top to bottom?
Yeah, I think when you look at it realistically, we have a lot of offensive players that are under contract for a long time, and that's exciting. I think, obviously, when you look at our free agents, we got a lot of free agents on the defensive side of the ball.
Hargrave, Edwards, Bradbury, to name a few.
Let's just talk about the Super Bowl and all our free agents. Let's really make me happy as I come to Indianapolis. I think that, where I think that balance is that the next 2 years we're gonna have a lot of picks. We'll have 3 1s, 3 2s. I think based on the comp formula, just based on the sheer amount of free agents we have, we'll have probably 3 3s next. So we're gonna have 9 first and second day picks in the next 2 years, and we have a lot of players under contract. So I think we have an opportunity here to continue to be a really good team and balance it with some good young players. Our first 3 picks in last year's draft, Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, and Nakobe Dean, they didn't have the opportunity to play, not because they weren't ready to play, but because we had veterans in front of them. And so, we add those guys and give those guys an opportunity to step up. Cam can play center and guard. Jordan can play all along the line. Nakobe can play off-ball linebacker. We have 2 free agents there, and I think it's okay. It's okay to have young players and add it and continue to have our veterans. So we'll see what goes on with our free agents. We won't be able to keep them all. And we'll just make sure we don't go into the drafting for need and try to address as many of our needs as we can, and also be comfortable that, I think in our best years, we haven't come out of the draft with everything taken care of, and knowing that you can still find players in May.
Sure.
We find James Bradbury in May. You can still make trades in August.
Yeah.
We went and traded for Chauncey in August. You can still make trades at the trade deadline.
Right.
We added an edge rusher in October. And so I think
Right.
roster building should take place. Once you get to the trade deadline, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But we won't stop till then.
Well, all right, let's go one more thing there. Just on you made the move of the offseason last year. You did. All right. You want to be positive here for the first time in the interview, okay? No, but you made the move of the offseason in A.J. Brown, right? Well, I guess game changer for your football team. What I'm interested in is, did you know leading up to the week, or was that like one of those things that kind of happened that day? Like, was there some conversation?
Yeah, there was conversation
Okay.
that happened prior to the week, and then that day was more spent on trying to make sure that we can get a contract done with him during that day. Sometimes deadlines are a good thing. Sometimes when you don't have the whole off season to talk about a contract, and we got to do this by the time the 17th pick comes on the clock. Sometimes that works.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the 18th pick.
Yeah.
I think for us, just where we were as a team, the kind of player he was, the chemistry he had with Jalen, it just fit for us. It worked.
Perfect.
And I think, as you see, it's good to have balance. Obviously, his skill set kind of balanced Devontae's, who's a tremendous player, who balances our tight end, Dallas Goedert, who's a tremendous player, who, obviously our offensive line's tremendous, and, our run game, past 2 years has been top 3 in the NFL. So you want to have balance. I mean, you want to have really good players and balance.
Yeah.
Since you don't want to play the what-if game, I'm not going to ask you what if, as explained in last week's item in The Athletic about the Rams and Sean McVay, if they hadn't gotten Allen Robinson and you had, what if that had happened? I'm not going to ask you that. I'm not going to ask you.
You want to, though.
I know you're not going to answer.
He doesn't live in what ifs.
I don't live in what ifs.
He doesn't live in what ifs.
I live in what is.
So
it's going to be my new saying. I really just made that up today. I feel like he's disappointed in me. I feel like I'm not giving him.
You insulted me before we even started.
I complimented you.
What
you think is insult, I think is a compliment.
You really got him reeling is he likes his money and he's worried about the gift he might have.
He told me that.
What is a successful combine week for Howie Roseman?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is trying to get a good feel for these players here. And I think the interviews and the medical are a huge part of why we're here. I think, obviously, combine prep's important for these guys, and we know they're prepared for the interviews. But at the same time, getting to meet these guys in person, really the medical part of this is the huge deal. And being able for our trainers and doctors to get our hands on guys and to give us more information about these guys, I think is a huge deal. And really, some of these people you haven't seen in a long time, like you guys, and getting a chance to connect with some people and really just turning the page on the 2022 season. And I think that for me, because we weren't at the Senior Bowl because of our season, I think really it's moving forward. And that's where we are as a team, as an organization. Let's move forward and try to put our best foot forward in 2023.
Yeah.
Are you concerned they're going to take away your rugby mall play? The fourth and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 20 doesn't matter once that thing starts rolling.
I think he thinks that if I'm going to take money from him, he's going to get me fined from the NFL.
I don't want
to
to
be tit for tat.
All I want to know is, do you think they're going to make that illegal like it was prior to 2006?
I bet yes.
Are you concerned?
Yeah,
I'm betting yes.
Well, I'm not concerned because I think the way that we're playing is within the segments of the rules. And,
you are.
And we're not doing anything that's wrong.
If the rules change, we'll do what the rules require.
Yeah.
What if?
In every aspect.
You're still going to have those big suckers
up
front moving people, so you'll be all right.
All right. Thanks, Howie. Great seeing you. I'll buy tighter clothes for next year. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.